Hello, hello. My name is Jess, and this is Patient POV. And today we're going to hear from Shyla, and she is the person behind the Instagram account Chronic Pain Girls. And that's on Instagram. And so go check out that page because it's absolutely amazing. I always love seeing what she posts and what she gets up to. It's super fun. Um, she has scoliosis and chronic pain, as well as epilepsy. And just a trigger warning that there are talks about child sexual abuse and the fact that she is a survivor herself and kind of how it plays effect, in her opinion, in terms of how her pain started. So just a trigger warning if this isn't an episode that you think you're able to listen to at this time, no worries. Take a look at a different episode that we have. But I just wanted to put a little notice out for anybody, but it is a really great episode. I think she has a lot of valuable things to say, and I'm very appreciative that she took the time and had a little chat with me. Um, Little update on me, real quick. I had my birthday on Monday this past week, so that's really awesome. But in the same sense, I did not have a great week this week, from Sunday until this Sunday, so about a week time. I just haven't been feeling the greatest. My heart has been quite wonky. Um, and then all the symptoms that go along with that. So that hasn't been the most fun. Um, but that being said, um, we're trucking along still. I would love to come on here and give you some like words of growth and learning that I have done over the year. And while I do feel like I've had a great opportunity in doing this podcast, I'm at a point in my week where I just didn't have enough energy for it to create something that would be really authentic to how I'm doing right now. And would be able to fully capture my true thoughts of like how I've learned so much over the past year. So something will be in the works in the next little bit. But I just did not have the energy over the last few weeks to put that all together in this short amount of time, because I've also been working on school and work, and it's just been a lot, to be honest with you. Um, on that note as well, I'm giving you guys a little heads up that um, I will be taking a few weeks off during the summertime, and I won't be posting an episode that in a few in a few of those weeks in the summertime, and for the episodes that I do post, if any, during the summer, they're going to look a little different than our normal Q&A style. And then with the hopes that they'll return to normal in the fall time. I just need a little a little break. I've As soon as I get through exams this coming week, I will have the longest time off from school since high school, which was over 4 years ago. And so I'm just giving you some heads up on what's to come in the next little bit. But yeah, if you have any words of encouragement for me, I'm always, maybe that'll be my question for the day, in terms of just motivation to, keep trucking along. I mean, we're here and we are, yeah, words of encouragement specifically for when you're in a flare. I think that would be great. And if I get some really good ones, then I'll make sure to share it over on my Instagram. You can follow me at Jess_and_Elda, which is ELDA. That's my service dog in training. And you can also head over to patientpov.ca. I also need to update that website. But there is a lot of great stuff. I just need to update the podcast side of things because I haven't updated the episodes that have been put onto there. but in the last few weeks, but there is still some really great resources. There's some really great product recommendations. The only product recommendation that I have an affiliation with, I think it's called, is Some Days, which I also am a true believer in this company. It's the founder is somebody who has endometriosis herself, and they make specifically period pain reliever products. My favorite product is a cramp cream, it's called, but it honestly is a pain relief cream that you could use anywhere. And we've used it on many different parts of our body. And I used it on my calf the other day. It was really great as well. So, not just for your abdomen. And then the other one that I really like from them is called Hot Spells, and it's for your bath. So I'll do some Epsom salts, but I'll also put this in. It's like a concentrate oil, and it's a ginger magnesium oil, something along those lines. It is my favorite thing in the world. It does not have a strong smell whatsoever. And it's great. So if you go to Some Days and their website, and at checkout you use Jess underscore and underscore Elda, ELDA, just like my Instagram account, you will be able to get 15% off. And that is awesome for you and also awesome for me, because then we can keep this affiliation going on for longer and be able to get help more people and get their products, because I think it's a great company, truly. Okay, and with that, I'm running into some brain fog at this point. It's a little later in the day as well, just because like I said, I've been exhausted. So it's been one of those days where I kind of left this to the little last minute. But I am going to post this and you'll be able to listen to it. But at this point, you are already listening to it. So we're just going to jump right in. As always, thank you guys so much for your support. And I hope you have a great week ahead. Hello, hello. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Do you want to just jump right in and give us an introduction of who you are and kind of your health journey background?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Shyla. I'm 27, almost 28. My health journey started when I was 10. I was playing soccer and I fell, couldn't walk. So went to the doctor, got an x-ray. I squished the cartilage in between my vertebrae, just in the top part of my spine. Healed quickly, but through that x-ray, they saw that I had kind of already severe scoliosis. And this was before puberty, so I had not gone through my growth spurt yet. Um, so they were pretty concerned at how far along the scoliosis was. It was at that time, I think maybe at about 20 to 25 degrees already. So that's kind of when it started. I did start experiencing pain in my back since the age of 10. I was still able to play soccer until I was about 17. It was really just, I just pushed through the pain. I tried running track as well, couldn't do that. But so really, it's always been extreme back pain. Since they were worried that it was already bad before puberty, when I was 14, they decided to brace me. So I got one of those nice plastic braces that just was kind of like a corset. It sucks you in. And it was very painful. I had to wear it 20 out of 24 hours of the day. So I slept in it, went to class in it, just took it off briefly. I would, like shove socks on the inside to try to prevent the bruising because it was just very uncomfortable. Unfortunately, that didn't stop the progress of the curve. So now I have about a 40-degree curve lower, and then on the top, it's only about 27. When I was 17, I started experiencing sciatic nerve pain. So if I would start walking, I would get extreme pinch up and down my leg, top of my butt down to my ankle, would prevent me from being able to walk, things like that. And then from there, it was really, excuse me, just managing the pain. Um, Along with that came a lot of, depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, just because I wanted to really escape the pain. So that's pretty much been my whole health journey, my entire life was just my back, really preventing me from doing normal things. Now I'm not able to work really. So I'm trying to get on disability just because I'm just constantly in pain. Um, I've tried going to the emergency room for it. They can't really do anything. I've been in a hard place because I grew up going to a spinal surgeon because they were considering spinal surgery. But I was always on the cusp of it not being severe enough for surgery, but still being severe enough for it to be like a major problem. So he was very encouraging. He just kept saying, keep playing soccer if you can. And everyone has back pain. So,
Oh, goodness.
yeah. So I just always kind of had that mindset of like, okay, well, everyone has back pain. I just have a little more. Um, and so it did take me a long time to really acknowledge like how severe the pain actually is, that it is, debilitating. I have to think I'm sure you've heard of the spoon theory where it's like you wake up and you only have a couple, a certain amount of spoons. So it's like, making a smoothie in the morning. Okay, that's gonna take out one or two spoons. And then I have a dog trying to take them on walks. It's been really hard. Some days I can only walk up to 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, so it definitely varies. And then um in I think it was April 20th of 2022, I had a seizure for the first time. And so that added in another component. I got diagnosed with epilepsy. My first seizure lasted for about 23 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And because of the severity of that seizure, I lost a lot of my memory. When I first came out of it, I woke up and I was in the hospital, and I couldn't tell them like my name or my birthday or like who the president was. I was just really confused. And that is still something I struggle with. I started getting seizures pretty frequently. The medications didn't work. Um, and so that's really affected my memory. And then coupled that with the chronic pain, um, just, the brain fog and trying to manage these multiple health conditions it's been really hard, but just creating that little online community that I did. I started in 2021. So before I had epilepsy and started getting seizures, it was more just for spreading awareness of people who they look normal because when like I walk, you can't really tell. I just look normal, but it's on the inside. It's like where I'm really struggling, and so yeah. Sorry, that
Yeah,
was a lot.
wonderful.
Not really
No,
sure.
no, no, no. It was amazing. Thank you so much for giving a very complete overview, and we appreciate that here.
Yeah,
Just for a few clarifying things of when you say you were so young, like you were pre-puberty when you
yeah,
first got this scan. So does scoliosis get worse during like growth spurts? Like how does that
yeah.
work?
Yeah, so as you grow, as you're growing taller, your spine has more opportunity to curve and twist. When a normal person that doesn't have scoliosis, their spine is just like this. So when you grow taller, it just keeps going like this. Um, but for me, as I grew, it just started twisting more and more. And the concept of the brace is to kind of hold it into place and stop the spine from moving as you're growing. But unfortunately for me, it didn't work. I also have the type of scoliosis where it's rotated. So
Oh,
it's not just like looking like an S. At the base of my spine, it's rotated like this as well. So it's like two different types of things going on with the scoliosis. But yeah, that's why they were concerned before puberty because they knew that with puberty, it will get worse as you grow.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then you were mentioning your spinal doctor was saying it's not bad enough. What you were saying like 40% on the bottom and 25% on the top, was it?
Yeah, so I have a 40-degree curve on my lower back,
Hmm.
and then my upper back has about a 27-degree curve. So usually for surgery, it's going to be about 45
Oh,
and over. So I'm right on the head where they said it'll be more painful for me to have surgery. I did see a spinal surgeon 2 years ago just to kind of check and see if there's anything, maybe new surgery updates. Unfortunately, here in the US, it's still you get a rod and some pins, and I've heard it's very painful. They recommended I don't do it right now, just because the muscle tissues as they're and the muscle fascia as they're healing after surgery, it's going to give me more pain. They
mhm.
said maybe in my 60s.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah.
Your countdown has started. Oh no.
Yeah.
Um, and so you're saying it gets worse during puberty. Does it ever stop the like getting worse, shall we say? Does it ever stop getting
Yeah.
larger?
So
Yeah.
luckily it does. Yeah. So
Okay.
mine has not changed since I was, you know, since I stopped growing, I think probably, you know, past 18, it's been the same. It has not gotten worse. So that is good.
Yeah. And would you say that, so let's just say 18 is when you stopped growing. Would you say that
Yeah.
you are experiencing the same amount of pain as you were when you were 18? Or has that gotten worse or better?
It's so as I've gotten older, it's gotten worse. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's definitely gotten worse. Just as I age, it's just, a lot more pain.
Interesting. Thank you for the frame of reference of even
Yeah,
though the curvature isn't getting worse, you're still
yeah.
getting worse pain, which is interesting to know as well.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in more pain than I was when I was in high school when it was, getting worse. I'm definitely in more pain now. I might be, I'm just not sure, maybe just how the body works as you get older. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then you had also mentioned that your doctor was saying, well, everybody has back pain.
Yeah.
Um, how did that affect your outlook on your chronic pain?
It definitely made me feel like I should not complain about it. That I should just, since I was 14 when I was told that, and I think it came from a place of care. He was trying to tell me, you can get through this. Everyone has back pain, but really, I took it. Okay, so everyone has back pain. I don't need, special treatment, so to say. Like, I'm not going to try to change anything um, about my life. I'm not going to try to like sit out for PE, at school. I'm not going to tell my work that I'm in extreme pain. I'm just going to, it definitely changed my outlook. And I never really thought about it until you mentioned it, but it just kind of made me put on more of a hard shell and not,
Mm.
even tell people I had scoliosis, what I was feeling. And when I did, it was more from a place of shame. I felt very ashamed that I was in pain, very weak. So that definitely affected it.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
was there like a turning point where you stopped feeling so much shame or like you were willing to say that you were in pain and that it wasn't normal? Like was there a turning point for you?
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely was. I would say it was about 5 years ago. I think it was when I met my now husband,
Mm,
because he was, really the first person to kind of acknowledge like how bad it really was. And I felt like he was the first person I could be open with completely. And so he really saw like how much I was actually suffering, because that's really what chronic pain is, that you're suffering,
mm.
and so he just really encouraged me to kind of not just accept that I was in pain, but actually like take a hold of it, try. Now I'm in physical therapy, and
Lovely.
I'm seeing specialists. Like before, I kind of just accepted it and, didn't really want to talk about it. And now he just makes me feel, I just feel a lot stronger. And because of it, not, oh, like poor me, I have scoliosis. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still doing all of this, with scoliosis, with these other health issues. So, yeah, I think yeah, he definitely helped me like change
Yeah.
that perspective.
Yeah, that's amazing for sure.
Yeah.
And the support system is very important as well.
Yes.
We always say that if you can have a support system that is supportive, that is a lot of help for sure.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking to your like day-to-day life, I know you were mentioning you weren't working because you have quite a bit of pain, but what would like a normal, if there is a normal day in the life look like for you?
Yeah, so like I am still working. I just work
Oh,
for my husband now. But I was working, 40 hours in an office. But right now, a normal day, it's and luckily I am very privileged that I'm able to, work as much as I can.
mm,
Before I was in a position where I did have to work, no matter if I was at a pain, a level 10 pain level, I still had to go in. So I do feel very privileged now that my days, I can adjust my days depending on the pain. So for example, the past couple weeks have been pretty rough. I've been like a 9.5, almost to the point where I'm like, should I go to the emergency room and,
mm,
you know, get that temporary relief? That's how bad it's been. But typically, a normal day is I wake up and, automatically my brain is assessing how I'm feeling. I'll lay on a heating pad for a little bit, and then I'll just get up, see how I feel, make breakfast. It does affect my appetite a lot. If I'm in a lot of pain, I can't eat. So that's also been a struggle as well. I know pain affects everyone differently. For me, causes
mm.
nausea, and I just, when I'm in a lot of pain, I just can't eat. So it definitely depends on that. And I will do some work, just some computer work usually. Um, at It depends, maybe for an hour or two, but never consistently. I'll have to go down, back to bed, lay down on my heating pad, take some breaks. Sometimes I'll go in for physical therapy. I do that once or twice a week. I work with a specialist, who specializes in scoliosis.
Mm.
Um, and then I also, um, once every 2 weeks, I see a structural integrationist. He kind of does like a
Oh,
deep tissue massage.
very
Um,
cool.
yeah, it really gives me relief. That's the only thing that really gives me relief because he kind of lengthens my body.
Mm,
Um, and then, just I'll try to do some housework. That's definitely something I struggle keeping up with. But again, taking breaks throughout the day. And then just maybe going down to the beach. I try to be
how
outside
fun.
as much as I can. um,
Yeah.
yeah, I find that even if I'm in a lot of pain, if I take my shoes off and I live really close to the beach, a few minutes, so I'm lucky that I can go down there. Um, because driving is hard. But just feeling the cold water, the ocean, or the sand on my feet, it does something where it makes me feel a little better. So I'll try to do that, or even sit in the backyard. But my days are definitely they're a lot slower than they used to be. It's
Mhm.
really just I just have to cater to how I feel. You know, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. No, no, I appreciate you diving into your daily life and kind of sharing
yeah,
how it is now. Yeah, for sure. I am wondering, I know we touched a little bit about how like what your doctor had said affected
yeah.
kind of your mental health, shall we say, in terms
Mhm.
of like how you're feeling towards yourself. I'm
Yeah.
wondering as a whole, how has your mental health evolved throughout the progression of your life, shall we say, and how is it now?
So as for my mental health, I definitely did have depression and anxiety. and suicidal ideation before I had scoliosis. So I was very young, in elementary school. I am a victim of child sexual assault. So that was a contributing factor. So I was going through those emotions. And then when I got diagnosed with scoliosis, it really did affect me. It made me, really sad. I just, kind of realized all the things that, I probably won't be able to do, like run marathons or, have kids, those things, are kind of out of the cards for me right now. I know some people with scoliosis, um, everyone's different. Some people with scoliosis, um, that have a worse curvature than mine, they don't have pain, which is amazing. So, everyone is different. But so when I got diagnosed with scoliosis and started experiencing the back pain, it definitely worsened my depression. It gave me a lot of social anxiety because when I was wearing the brace, it was during my freshman year of high school. And so with that was like already, you're
Yep.
14 and as a girl, you're already like, oh my God, like people are looking at me even though they're not, like, you know what I mean? Like you're just worried about everything. And then knowing that I had this like plastic thing on me and trying to hide it. And, it definitely gave me a lot of social anxiety and fed into insecurity. And then as I kept getting older and like had to stop playing soccer, had to stop running track, it made my depression worse because it was like, okay, well that's another thing I can't do now because of my back or this and that or I can't go out with my friends tonight because like I'm in too much pain. So kind of makes you feel isolated as well. But and then as I went into college and then just now I'm almost 28. It's like my depression, anxiety, it's actually better than it ever has been, which is really nice. I think it just took a lot of time to heal myself, and there's a huge brain body connection. And sometimes when I am healing myself, I'll have more pain because I'm, letting things go out, whether it be like talk therapy, group therapy, journaling. But then, eventually I'll feel better. So I would say like right now I feel probably the best I've ever felt, despite being in a high level of pain. But yeah, I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually going to ask you if you thought that there was a connection between whether it's like past trauma or like mental health state and your chronic pain and the way you're feeling, if you thought there was a connection between the two.
I do 100%. Yeah, I actually think that there's a huge connection that a lot of Western doctors don't acknowledge. You know, there's a lot
Mm,
of books about it as well, but I've even heard, I mean, this is, just a theory, but I've even heard of because I went through a sexual assault for so many years when I was young and I was keeping it a secret, suppressing it, that could, maybe my spine was twisting as, because I was silent about it and your body changes, based on what your brain is going through, I guess, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
yeah, I definitely think it's a connection because, um, I mean, I do know a lot of people with scoliosis that have been sexually assaulted as children. Um, I do know that my pain started lessening when I started talking about it.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I think it's a huge connection. You know, when you're trying to cope with something or have depression, anxiety, and you're storing it inside, that becomes, tension. Muscle tension can turn into pain. So yeah, I think there's a huge connection. And I didn't realize it up until a few years ago.
Mm.
like how strong that connection was.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you, um, as somebody who is a survivor of sexual assault, how do you know that it wasn't your fault that you now have like scoliosis, like that connection of that?
Yeah, that's a really good question because you know, you always think like, did I do something? Wasn't my fault? For me, it took, until 2 years ago to tell anyone what happened. It happened from when, as young as I can remember, so 3, 4, up until I was about 9 years old, from my grandma's husband. And
Mm,
so when I finally, started speaking about it, um, I did feel shame, not for what happened, but for being silent. Um,
mm,
but that's the hard thing with assault is that, and especially when it happens when you're a child, is that, you're weighing, well, what's going to happen if I say something? Is it going to be worse now, than what I'm already going through? Which in my situation, I don't think it would have been beneficial for me to speak up, just in, the situation that I was in personally. Um, for my safety and others people's safety around me, I had to stay silent. Um, but yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of shame around it, even though it's not your fault. Everyone's telling you it's not your fault, but there is a part of me like, wow, if I did, say something and it, stopped, maybe, maybe I wouldn't have this scoliosis or have as much pain.
mm,
But I try not to like dwell on it too much, because some people don't think there's a connection at all with scoliosis and trauma and things like that. So
hmm.
yeah, I hope that
Yeah, for
answered
sure.
it. Sorry,
No,
that
it
was
for
kind of
sure
a hard
does.
one.
Yeah, and no, no, yeah, yeah. And I appreciate you being so vulnerable in what how you're answering and whatnot. But yeah, no, you definitely answered my question, so thank you.
Yeah.
I am just wondering, you were mentioning you were like you had to start wearing a brace when you were like 14-ish and you're going into freshman year, I think you
Yes.
call it. Okay, sorry. In Canada, we call it like grade nine,
Oh,
I
okay.
think is
Yeah.
the
Grade
equivalent for
nine, ninth
freshman year.
grade.
So that's why I was like just confirming that's what you said. Yeah, ninth grade, yeah. So is there anything you would say to like whether it was like you wish you would have heard somebody say to your 14-year-old self or something you wish you would be able to tell other people who are going through the same thing around the same age? Like, is there anything in particular you'd want to say to them or yourself back at that time?
Yeah, I would say definitely don't worry so much about what you think people are thinking of you. Because that was a huge thing is, what are, because I would wear, baggy t-shirts to hide, the outline of the brace. And then, I even got a comment like, why are you always wearing the same shirts? So I would definitely like tell myself, my former self, or anyone going through that, just don't worry about it. Like literally they're only thinking about themselves anyway in the moment, and you just got to focus on your healing. And it's actually nothing to be embarrassed about. I eventually turned it into a joke, you know, so that was, a good coping mechanism where, I would, poke someone and then they would try to poke me back and they'd be like, what? And then, like, what is that? And I would explain it and they're like, what? I never even knew. So looking back, like a lot of people didn't even realize. So I think I was just making it, it's really all in your head. So
Mm.
just try not to worry about what people might be thinking because they're probably not thinking about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And then I'm wondering if you have any like resources or like you mentioned books before, but if you have any
Yes.
like either book recommendations or resource recommendations for anything we had chatted about before.
Yeah, I would say Body Keeps a Score is an amazing book.
Mm.
Probably one of the only ones that really, really dives into like trauma specifically. But also there are two books by Dr. Joe Dispenza that I've read. I believe it's
Mm,
Mind Over Matter, and then You Are the Placebo. You Are the Placebo is an amazing book, just because it's all about, he, himself is a chiropractor and he started this journey because he got hit and dragged by a car
mm,
and was never supposed to be able to walk again, and he was able to heal himself. So that's definitely inspiring. And then also just, if you are in social media, just I didn't realize how big of a tool social media was. I always just used it for personal like uses. And then once I started my chronic pain girls Instagram, I was like, oh my God, there's so many people like me. Like this is crazy. And I think it's because you are in school, I didn't know anyone else like me, where I live, all my friends, like I don't know anyone, but then online there's just this huge community. So I say definitely like use that versus like comparing yourself on social media, use it more to connect like people that are just like you because it's definitely a game changer because it's you need a lot of support. You definitely do.
yeah, for sure. And my last question is a fun question that I always try to ask every guest that comes on is there any current shows or movies or books that you're really into right now? And it can be nothing related to chronic health, just like what are you into right now?
Okay. Well, usually I'm a thriller person, so I'm always watching, some reading or something thrillers. But right now I'm actually reading this book. Can't remember the author's name. But called, I believe it's called Originals, and it's just about it's a nonfiction and it's about how, nonconformists have changed the world. Like it's just a really interesting book and it's really fun to read. Yeah, I also love biographies, so anything like that. But yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, wonderful. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And then where can everybody find you?
So on Instagram, it's Chronic Pain Girls. So yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me and having the conversation.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you asking me to come on. And yeah, I hope with brain fog, sometimes I don't know if I'm making sense. So hopefully this turned out okay.
It definitely did. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So